So today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, SEO audits. SEO audits are my specialty within SEO, and SEO audit is the absolute foundation of any good SEO strategy. It is the diagnosis you must do before you can write the prescription. Without it, you are just guessing. There are, of course, two types of audits, one being like this full, comprehensive, in-depth SEO audit that may take 30, 40, 50, 100 hours. For those types of audits, of course, you will have to use a set of various SEO tools because you will be checking like a ton of different things. The other type of SEO audits are those quick, small, fast SEO audits that are very often done like at the start of the cooperation with a new client, or are simply like sold as a service, because sometimes the client that will come to you will just want to know more or less like what's going on, what are like their main problems, their main issues. Usually those quick SEO audits are about technical SEO. However, I also take a look at backlinks and a little bit at overall SEO visibility when I do this quick SEO audit. One of the tools I use and recommend using is SE Rankings Website Audit. This tool is brilliant for three specific scenarios. One being a quick health check, which will allow you to get fast, high-level overview of the site's technical health without the complexity of an advanced desktop crawler, especially if you are to audit like a very huge e-commerce website where there are like millions of pages. This is like this initial first step. Another scenario is ongoing monitoring. If you have many projects in SE ranking, there is this option of having weekly, monthly crawls, which is probably one of the biggest strengths of this SE ranking website audit tool. You can schedule it to run automatically and catch new issues before they become big problems, because usually you won't be crawling the website every week or even every month. Here, this can be happening in the background, and if something weird is happening, like there is no index tag or a big number of pages is starting to get de-indexed, you will be notified by this tool. The third scenario for using SE Rankings Website Audit is as your first audit. If you are a business owner, or if you are new to SEO, or if you are just learning SEO auditing, this tool is a perfect way to run your first audit without getting overwhelmed and without getting too much limitations and without being yet able to afford the tool. Because here is the deal. If you subscribe to my SEO newsletter at seoslide.io, then you will receive a deal for SE ranking, which is 30 days of free access to all tools within SE ranking without limits, with no credit card info required. Whether you are a business owner, whether you just want to learn how to do those quick audits, you can just use that tool for a month and play on different projects. The great thing about that tool is also that it has a lot of explanations, and the list of things it checks is very thorough. So you can learn a lot about SEO at the same time, because all the issues it checks for are listed and are explained. So today I'm going to show you my workflow for using SE Rankings Website Audit. We will not just look at the data, we will interpret it to find actionable things you can fix on your website right away. Let's jump into the SE Ranking dashboard. Here you will find Website Audit, and here you will be able to choose the project which you want to review. Once you are in the dashboard, you just click Audit, and here you can see all the reports, all the audits that have run, and you can also run a new audit. So let's click New Audit, and let me show you how to run a new audit right from the start. So here you can start the audit. Let's enter the domain. Let it be my domain. For next videos, maybe I will prepare a set of different domains, or you can suggest the domains you want me to use in future videos. Then there is an audit name, so SEO Slide, SE Ranking Video. You can also like group those audits. Let's create a new group and let's call it SE Ranking Training. Here you can select what type of bot you want to use. So SE Ranking can pretend to be like Bing bot, Google bot, or it can use its own user agent, up to you which one you choose. Let's use the default one. There is also the option to render JavaScript. In most cases you want to do that so that you can see if there are problems, differences in content between source code and rendered code. Most websites on the internet now use JavaScript, and checking that in most cases is a clever idea. It was like 10-15 years ago at SEO agencies when by default, for example, when we are using Screaming Frog, we never used JavaScript rendering. Like it wasn't a default. Now this is a default. So let's use JavaScript rendering. Here you can add rules whether you want the crawler to crawl specific folders or not crawl specific folders, or you can disallow it from checking pages that with URLs that start with a specific keyword, letter, combination of letters, or you can even hide URLs and resources that start with, again, something specific. There is a limit of URLs you can scan, so SEO Sly, and let's just limit that crawl to blog because I'm basically only interested in checking what's going on my blog. So I'm allowing only the URLs that start with blog. Okay, it looks like that's everything. Now let's hit run, and the SE ranking is now running the audit, and in a few minutes the audit will be ready and I will be able to review the warnings, the problems and all of that. This type of audit within SE ranking, this is mostly technical SEO audit. The things that it is checking here all relate to technical SEO. Once it is done, we will be able to see the overview summary, the issues report, crawled pages, so actually what pages crawler crawled, resources, links. We can also run comparison if we ran a crawl and audit in the past. This is the technical part, and as part of this quick SEO audit, you can also include a few other things that are available within SE ranking. Again, you can play with that for a month, so without any problems, you can do everything I'm showing you here on multiple websites and so on. As part of every audit, whether this is a small audit, a mini audit, or a big audit, I always take a look at a few other things, and I will show you them now while the audit is running. Whenever I have a new website, a new page to audit, I basically check like what its visibility in SEO overall. Is this page website dead, or is it like a page that actually has some traffic? You can check that using competitive research overview. I have a separate video about that, but here I'm showing you this part for the purposes of like overall SEO audits. I am entering SEO slide domain and can see more or less, is this site, as I said, dead? Is this site alive? Is it alive and doing well? I can see those basic SEO metrics, domain trust, organic traffic. It is important to know that this is the estimated number of clicks, and the analyzed domain URL will get on Google based on the current rankings of the discovered keyword and the calculations that SE ranking makes on the search volume for those keywords. Paid traffic, if there is a paid campaign, referring domains, backlinks. Overall, at this specific report, the important part is to look at that chart here where I can see total traffic over, let's say, 36 months. Here I can see that the audit has been completed, and we will see that in just a second. So total traffic, I want to know in what direction the traffic of the website is heading, organic keywords, where is it going, traffic cost. So this is again estimation, backlinks. Are they getting a lot of new backlinks? Aren't they getting any new backlinks? Or have they just bought 20 million backlinks, or they haven't, but there somehow appeared that many? Organic keywords, I can quickly just take a look at organic keywords, like how many improved, how many were decreased. Organic competitors, at this stage, I'm probably not going to dive deep into them, but it's good to know which ones are the top ones. Because if the top competitors here I see are irrelevant to the website I am actually analyzing, then it may mean that there is something wrong with, like, the website is basically mostly ranking for irrelevant stuff, and that's why the tool automatically assigns wrong competitors. The keywords by intent, SERP features, distribution of organic keyword ranking. Is this page ranking for any keywords on the first page of Google, in top 5, or are all the rankings like on pages 20 plus. Here I can see the top performing pages in organic search, which is also an important thing to know, because this will let you understand like what types of content is performing, what are the revenue drivers, lead drivers possibly for that specific page, for that specific. One of the steps that you should take within even a mini SEO audit, and it will take you like a few minutes, but it will give you a good idea of how the website is doing, especially if the client won't give you access to Google Search Console, which happens quite often. Not all the clients, especially prospects, want to give you access to GSC or GA4 or other analytics software. At this point, it is also worth looking at AI research and see how this website is performing in AIO, in AI overviews. And soon you will also be able to see in AI mode, because this is like something that is now happening, and you probably want to know if there is a lot of traffic, no traffic, if there are links, if there are no links. I have a separate video about that, but again, this will take you a minute or two to review, because there is like a 99% chance that you will be getting questions from your future clients about AIO and all those other acronyms, and basically whether do you do AIO, what do I do, how am I performing, and so on. That's another thing you can check as part of this mini SEO audit. And as you can see, you can do this and way more with just one tool, one SE ranking. You don't need a bunch of crawlers for this type of audit. You don't need 20 subscriptions to very expensive tools. You just basically need this one tool. Of course, as I said, for those longer, more comprehensive, more complex audits that take you a month, you will need probably 20 plus tools. But for this specific type of audit, and there is a need for this type of audits as well, you can basically do it with just SE ranking and maybe SE ranking and like 2-3 other tools. Another thing you can check as part of this small audit is backlinks. I don't like backlinks. I don't build backlinks unless I am 100% sure that this is like essential for you to rank, but that's for another video. This tool allows you to simply review the state of backlinks, or if you are doing a traffic loss audit, or you are simply answering the question of the client about why they are ranking above me and I am below them, my content is better, then you may want to run Backlink Gap Analyzer, because sometimes this may be the reason why they are being outranked. Backlink Checker, very cool tool. I entered my website URL and I can instantly see the state of backlinks for my websites. I can see the list of backlinks, the overview, like the most important information. I can see, let's say, the overall number of backlinks from last 12 months, and I can see, is there something off, like very high charts, a little bit like too high, too low? Are there too many changes? Is there something that may make me think that they may have issues with backlinks, like they have been building backlinks too much and they may have problems because of that, or that they clearly have a deficit of backlinks, or if this backlink part is something I can ignore and just focus on technical stuff, on-page stuff. Technical stuff is like the entry into the game. Once it's done, then on-page SEO is like 80%, 85%, and backlinks are like this icing on the cake in many cases, in most cases, to be honest. Here you can see new and lost referring domains is like the chart, more or less stable. New and lost backlinks. Top anchors, are the anchors like weird, and are all those anchors saying the same thing? The domain trust of URLs ranking, top countries from which I'm getting links. You can see the full report. These are like just the summaries. In most cases, the summary for this type of report is all I need. I don't need to do like the entire backlink audit, where I audit like basically every single link. Not necessary. Here you can actually review those backlinks and sort them in different ways, or you can see the new ones, you can see the lost ones. There are also presets, and you can see, for example, best links, the ones that actually are probably moving the needle for your website. And if there are many of those backlinks, you want to see to what specific URL they are pointing, and then, for example, on this specific URL, you can add internal links to pages which you want to help a little bit in terms of SEO. This is quite useful, especially when it comes to like SEO strategy building. Referring domains, all the referring domains that SE ranking can see. Anchor text, so this is basically the entire report whose summary you see in overview. Pages, specific pages, what pages are linked the most, and IP addresses. This is, again, 5 minutes at max, I think, you can spend in this report and have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. There is this tool, Backlink Gap Analyzer, where you can basically add your competitor and simply see what backlinks you are missing compared to your competitors. But this video isn't really about that, but I'm just showing you that there is this possibility. This small, mini, quick audit, 30-minute audit you are doing with SEO ranking includes technical SEO audit, which is like the main part, overall review of SEO visibility of the website, and a look at backlinks, and of course SEO visibility as well, as this is something that is now super important. Let's get back to audit reports. The report I started a few minutes ago is now ready, so I can just click here and review it and see what's going on here. Overall health score is okay. I can see that the breakdown by type of issue, so error, warnings, notice. So anything in red you have to at least take a look at, because it may be critical, assuming this is really an issue, because we all know that those tools do a fantastic job. They can review the entire website in minutes, something that we would do in months. But these are just tools, and this human element is necessary. Whenever a tool flags something as an error, you need to review that and confirm or not confirm. Pages health ratio, so you can see how many pages are like totally healthy and how many have some warnings. So here the ratio isn't the best, but probably this isn't a huge problem. We'll see in just a second. Here you can see the most popular site auditing use cases and their sections. One use case, this is super helpful, and SEO ranking is really brilliant that they put it here. View uncrawled pages, so the pages which for some reason couldn't have been crawled. View non-indexable pages to check if you actually wanted those pages to be non-indexable. View pages with metadata issues, links to problematic pages, and redirect chains and loops. Here you can see like how many pages on your website have those most popular issues. I can see that the biggest number of pages on my website that have this popular issue are the pages with metadata issues, and of course this has to be reviewed. And then I can see top issues for my website. External JavaScript with status codes 300, 400, 500 to be reviewed. Non-canonical pages in HTML sitemap. 404 pages, so just one page. Internal links to redirected pages, so this probably is something to be cleaned. I can also see all text missing. But these are like the top issues. I can see here, I can go here, view all, and see all of those issues, which I will do in just a second. Page indexability, this is super cool. So I can see that out of all the pages I crawled, I can see which ones are indexable, which are not indexable. Here the breakdown by status codes, the number of pages that SEO ranking crawled, and the number of URLs found. Can include images, JavaScript files, CSS files. This isn't usually something to worry about, but something to review. Distribution categories, you can see like in which category of errors, warnings, how many pages you have. So you can see that JavaScript, here are CSS, mobile optimizations. We will be reviewing them in just a second. Core Web Vitals, so I can see the Core Web Vitals for those pages scanned, so no need to check every page like manually. You can just plug in your website here and you will know your Core Web Vitals metrics after the crawl is finished. Domain metrics is quite, I think, important section. It shows you the domain date expiration. Of course, you can go to backlinks. You can see the referring domains, domain trust, something we talked about. And this is super cool. You can see the number of pages indexed in Google, in Yahoo, and in Bing. Here, like page depth, so how deep in the structure of the website or in the URL structure a specific page is, and basically this will inform you about the structure. The server's response time, number of redirects, and detached pages. Here you can see again summary of robots meta tags and link attributes within your crawled pages. A super useful summary, but now let's get into the details. So let's get into the issues report. So here are actually all the issues that SEO ranking was checking. They are sorted by the current issues you have, so that you can just focus on the ones that you actually have, and you can see like how many pages they relate to, all tracked, and you can also see like what pages have no issue. You can, for example, report to your client that, okay, so we did this audit and you have a lot of things done right. Actually, like there are no security issues. Crawling and indexing, this is like almost perfect. There is just one 404. Something blocked by no index tag, and maybe this isn't really an issue, so you can actually show that the website is doing fine, but there are a few things to fix. Let's switch to current and let's review my issues. And the thing I love about SEO ranking website audit is that whenever there is an issue, let's say this one, you have the issue description, which you can just copy paste, screenshot to your client. And there is also like a proposition of how to fix it. So your audit will never be like just listing errors without any explanation. This description and how to fix is available for just about every issue. I strongly recommend reviewing that, and this is the place where you can actually learn a lot about SEO. If you are not sure about a specific issue, what it means, you can just open its description and learn. A nice thing about it is that there is this export button, which allows you to simply export the audit findings. You can include the pages with errors, with notices. You can also include pages with no issues to show the client what I just told you, that you did those things wrong, but those things were done right. You can also include the description, the section description, and issue descriptions. This is super, super useful. Let's download that report, and I will show it to you in just a second. And you can even make a very useful, quick checklist from that and use that checklist in your SEO agency or as an SEO consultant. Here is the report I just exported. So as you can see, it is a nice looking report. You see the overall summary and you see those specific issues, the ones that were done okay, and the issues the things that were checked and aren't an issue, and the things that were checked and are an issue, and you can see description and how to fix. Of course, remember that this audit, it looks awesome, but you have to always review everything, confirm, and probably add some of your commentary. But as this first draft of the audit, this is usually very, very useful, and you just have to add your human element to it, extend it, or maybe remove some things depending on the client and their goals. That's about this section. If we go to crawled pages, you will see all of the crawled pages and the details about each and the issues that were found for that specific URL, which is also, again, super useful. My most popular page being search operators, and I can see that it has 8 issues, and I can see the types of issues it has, and I can confirm these are issues or these aren't issues, and whether it can be indexed. I can see its title, canonical URL, H1 length, and I can also export that and send it to clients. I can just view errors, I can just view warnings, I can just view notices. So super useful, and there is also this option to see it like that through directories. I can see the directories where a specific URL or issue exists. Found resources, so all the resources that were found. So these will in most cases be images, but you will also see CSS, JavaScript, and this is perfectly normal. Found links. Here you can see all the links that were found within the pages that SE ranking crawled, all the links you put on your pages, internal links and external links. Again, super, super useful. Crawl comparisons. If you run this crawl like every week, every month, then you can see like things that changed, things that didn't change. You can even ask SE ranking to show you just the changes. You need to have more than one report here to have that option available. That's basically it regarding the SEO audit you can do with SE ranking. Once you have done that, very often the next step would be to do on-page SEO optimization and analysis, and this is where this tool, on-page SEO tracker and SERP analyzer, will be super useful, but those are discussed in a separate video, as this is like in itself a separate topic, and I don't want this video to take too long, but I already see that it will be quite lengthy. In about 30 minutes, we have run an audit, we have analyzed the health score, and we have identified a handful of real actionable issues that I can start fixing today. But remember my philosophy, an audit is just a diagnostic tool. This is not like a checklist to be completed, especially without using your SEO human brain. The real work and the real results come from what you actually do after the audit, and whether the things you have identified are actually implemented by the client, and SEOs don't always have influence over that unless they have access to the website and their agreement with their client is that they do implement website audit recommendations. I recommend you use this SE ranking audit to get your baseline score, to get your overall view, schedule it to run every week to monitor the website's health, and use the data it gives you to build a stronger, faster, and more user-friendly website over time. And this process gives you a fantastic foundation. If you want to learn more and go deeper with advanced tools and like a full holistic methodology. This is exactly what I teach inside my SEO Audit Mastery course. For now, get started with this and you will be miles ahead of many SEOs. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.